Have you ever, like, felt that panic when your computer just freezes up?
Hmm.
When you're in the middle of something important?
Oh, yeah.
Or even worse, that horrible feeling when you realize that you've lost important files because you forgot to back them up.
Ugh. Oh, worst.
Yeah. Well, today we're diving into a story all about data management.
Okay.
But this is on like a much larger scale. So imagine a government municipality
Right.
that's responsible for just tons of critical data.
I see.
Everything from, public records
Uh-huh.
to infrastructure blueprints,
Okay.
and all of that is constantly growing, and it all needs protection.
It's a scenario that we see more and more often these days. The amount of data that organizations have to manage is it's mind-boggling. And the stakes, they're unbelievably high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in this case, this municipality was really struggling with their backup system. It was totally outdated.
Yeah.
We're talking like old school tape libraries,
Oh, wow.
backup windows of 72 hours or more, and just this constant feeling of being overwhelmed.
72 hours for a backup? I mean, in this day and age, that's like forever.
Right.
Any kind of delay in getting to that critical data could be a huge problem.
For sure. It was really messing with their productivity,
Mm-hmm.
making disaster recovery just a logistical nightmare.
Yeah,
And that threat of losing data was always hanging over their heads.
I bet.
On top of all that, their data was growing by something like 25% every year.
Wow.
So that just added another whole layer of complexity to the problem.
That kind of data growth, that's a huge challenge for so many organizations.
Right.
Traditional backup methods, they just weren't built to handle that kind of volume and speed.
So what do they do? How do they get out of this data management mess?
Well, they decided to go with a solution that's getting more and more popular. A purpose-built backup and disaster recovery appliance.
Mhm.
They call it the DR365V, and it's made to tackle these specific challenges of modern data management.
Okay, so break that down for us. What exactly is a backup and disaster recovery appliance? And how did it help this municipality so much?
It's basically a self-contained unit. It's got all the hardware and software you need for efficient and safe backups. In this case, the DR365V uses Veeam technology, which is really top-notch.
Okay.
One of the key things about it is that it uses unlimited NAS-based data movers.
Data movers.
Yeah. Imagine you've got a bunch of people moving boxes instead of just one person doing all the work. That's kind of what these data movers do. They let you run backup jobs in parallel, which speeds up the whole process dramatically.
Ah, okay. So it's like instead of being stuck on a single-lane road during rush hour, you're cruising along on a multi-lane highway.
Exactly. It's all about parallel processing to move data much faster. And there's more.
Okay.
The Veeam engine is built right into the DR365V.
Mhm.
So there's no lag time from data having to travel across a network. Everything happens right there on the appliance.
Oh, I see. So it's like having everything you need, all the tools and resources in one central spot, no unnecessary delays.
You got it. And this really efficient design was a big part of why the municipality was able to cut down their backup window by a whopping 35%.
That's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about this hot and cold storage approach you talked about earlier.
Right.
How does that work exactly?
Well, it's a smart way to balance performance and cost. The DR365V has different storage tiers,
Mhm.
NVM, SSD, and SAS. NVMe is kind of like a race car for data.
Okay.
Super fast, but it costs more. SSD is more like your dependable sedan, perfect for files you access frequently. And then SAS, that's like a spacious truck, good for data that's not so urgent.
So it's like having a really organized filing system
Right.
where you keep the most important stuff close at hand and then you archive other things safely.
Perfect analogy. And this tiered approach means the municipality can customize their storage to fit the specific needs of their data. They get quick access to the important stuff, but they also keep costs under control.
Yeah.
And you know those old tape libraries they were using?
Yeah.
They weren't just slow, they were also a big security risk.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You hear about these ransomware attacks all the time now. It's kind of scary to think that important data could be held hostage.
Absolutely. And that's where the DR365V really shines when it comes to security. It's got two key features:
Okay.
automated air gapping and immutability.
Okay, so let's break those down a bit. Air gapping. That sounds like something out of a spy movie.
Well, it's not that far off. Imagine you have this island, totally isolated, no connection to the mainland.
Right.
That's basically what air gapping does for your backup data.
Oh, okay.
It creates a separate, safe network,
Uh-huh.
completely disconnected from the main system.
I see.
Makes it super hard for hackers to get in.
So even if the main system gets compromised, the backup data is still safe. It's like an escape route, but for digital disasters.
Exactly. And the DR365V does this automatically, makes it seamless and reliable.
Oh,
No more manually disconnecting tapes and moving them off-site.
that's a relief for the IT team for sure.
Uh,
But what about immutability? What's that all about in terms of data protection?
Immutability means that once data is written to the backup, it can't be changed or deleted, even by someone with admin privileges.
Hmm.
Think of it like etching data in stone. It's permanent, can't be tampered with.
So even if a hacker gets into the system, they can't encrypt or delete the backups.
Nope. It makes sure the backup data stays clean and ready for recovery no matter what threats are out there.
So the DR365V doesn't just speed things up, it really strengthens the municipality's defenses against cyber attacks.
Yeah,
Like having a high-tech security system for their data.
exactly. And you need that kind of security these days, the way cyber threats are growing.
You know, I was really impressed with how much time they saved on backups. Didn't you say their IT staff was spending like 70% of their time on backups before?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
They were drowning in manual processes, always struggling to keep up with all that data growth.
But with the DR365V, that went down to just 20%?
Oh, right.
That's amazing.
Automating tasks and streamlining the workflow really freed up their IT team.
Think about all the other things they can do now. System upgrades, improving security, strategic planning.
Exactly. It's like taking a huge weight off their shoulders. Lets them be more proactive and innovative.
And what about that 25% data growth every year they were dealing with?
Yeah.
How did the DR365V handle that?
Well, one of the best things about this solution is that it's scalable.
Oh,
It can grow along with your data.
right.
You can easily add more storage as you need it.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It's flexible. It adapts as your needs change.
Exactly. It ensures the municipality's backup system won't hold them back as their data keeps growing. It's like having a storage container that just magically expands to fit whatever you need to put in it.
You really need that kind of future-proofing in the world we live in today, where everything relies on data. You don't want to be constantly scrambling to keep up.
Absolutely. And that peace of mind is so valuable for any organization, especially one that's responsible for protecting important public data.
So it sounds like this one solution, the DR365V appliance, really tackled a lot of the municipality's problems.
Yeah, it's a great example of how a holistic approach to data management can really make a difference.
It wasn't just about making backups faster or adding more storage. It was about building a whole system that was efficient, safe, and could adapt as their needs changed.
Exactly. They went from being reactive, always trying to catch up, to
Mm.
being proactive and in control of their data.
And I bet that shift had a big impact on the whole organization.
Oh, absolutely. When your data management system is a constant source of stress, it affects everyone. But when it's reliable and efficient, it frees up time and resources so people can focus on what they do best.
It's like clearing a major roadblock, opening up the way for innovation and progress.
Exactly. And that's what we see in this case. By using the DR365V, the municipality not only fixed their immediate data management problems, but they set themselves up for success in the future.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways our listeners should remember?
Well, first of all, don't underestimate how important data management is.
It's not just an IT thing, it's crucial for any organization.
Right. And second, take a look at your current data management practices. Are they efficient? Are they secure? Can they scale as you grow?
If not, it might be time to look at some other options.
Definitely. And third, don't be afraid of automation.
Yeah.
It can really streamline things, reduce errors, and give your team more time to focus on other stuff.
And lastly, always make security a top priority.
Absolutely. In today's world, with all the cyber threats out there, protecting your data is more important than ever.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought. Think about all the time you spend managing data right now. Could you be using that time for something more strategic, something more fulfilling?
Imagine if you could get even a fraction of that time back. What could you achieve? What new possibilities would open up?
The right data management solution can really change the game. It can free you from those tedious tasks and empower you to do so much more.
It really can.
So take some time to assess your own data management needs and explore the solutions that can help you streamline your processes, make things more secure, and ultimately unlock your full potential.
That's great advice.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into data management.
My pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and helpful.
I hope so too.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay secure.